One. Welcome to Foundations. I'm Rosie Abramyan.
And I'm Patrick Ahounber.
And we are the co-hosts of Foundations, a Modaa podcast. I would like for you to help us welcome our special guests, Howard Chu and Lukas Peters, dear friends, close collaborators of Modaa with Atelier X.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having us. This is our first podcast, so please go easy on us.
Yeah, so great to be here.
We're so happy to have you and talk about all the fun things that we've done together, all the great things that make you who you are as a team, and where we're all headed together and separately. Okay, so how long has Atelier X been building?
Okay, it's a short answer is 13 years. That's when I moved back to LA to rejoin Masa Studio. And just by sheer chance, our office is right next door to Lukas's.
Yeah. One day, Howard literally walks into the door and introduces himself. This is unusual, but somehow we just hit it up right there and started collaborating various projects, moonlighting, just building, discovering similarities and interests that were overlapping.
Yeah, and also for those not in the profession, sometimes when architecture firms are slow, especially with the neighbors, they get along. They sort of borrow employees when times are slow. It's like passing a little stick of something around.
Is that how you two started working on Amman together?
That came later. Prior to that, we worked on some custom homes. And then Howard actually reconnected with me, and I had left the office I had worked with for over 20 years. And I always wanted to work with Masa Studio. And so it was just perfect timing. I was able
you didn't
to
want to
join.
work with me?
But joking aside, there was always shared interest, and Masa Studio had won the project with Amangiri Residences, and we're building their team. And I was able to join. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, and I don't think I think I shared this with Lukas before, but I just remember that when I first met him that day, when when he answered the door at Fran's office, I just looked at him and I just had this really strong intuition that, wow, one day we're gonna be partners. We're gonna work together. I mean, it's really strange, but neither of us really had any ambitions of opening our own company because we're usually the guys behind the scenes and just pouring over the drawings and supporting our bosses. So we just kind of filed it away for a time.
And what were you guys doing before all this? Before you guys joined this force?
Yeah, I worked in a family office for over 20 years. After studying interior architecture in Germany, came for an internship. And the great thing with interior work is that you get right to realizing projects much quicker, right? Because you're bringing them into the ground very fast, and so it becomes concrete soon. And so working on these very detailed, challenging projects for over 20, my apprenticeship, basically, fantastic mentors.
Yeah, and for me, sorry, my answer is going to be a bit longer. I've been at this for about 30 years now. I bounced around a lot, between New York, Houston, Taiwan, and now LA, and this is the final stop. A few of the architects I've worked for are the late Terry Despont, Jim Polshak, Rick Joy in Tucson, and Masa Studio as a design director for a decade. And just before finally just finding the courage to start our own firm.
Well, that's That's similar to starting off and working under a renowned Michelin star chef. And those all sound like top-tiered, world-renowned architects. And what a great journey to learn from those experts in life and to hear their philosophy, to see their work ethic and design principles. That's amazing.
And it was really hard struggle, especially for myself. I'm sure Lucas similarly, to have practiced architecture at a very high level for 25 and 30 years, and to lead the comforts of a great job, do an amazing project, working with wonderful people, um, to walk away from that comfort. Um, and, it was really challenging. I was really afraid of the unknown. Like, for example, how would we find our first client?
So let me ask you guys, what projects did you guys work on?
Yeah, I mean, off the bat, I joined this very talented design team, and they were right in the middle of the work for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, building their Pickford Theater in Hollywood.
So it's safe to say that you were building showbiz.
There were some touch points for sure.
Did you get backstage passes to any of this, or we build the project and get to soft opening party and we're out, right?
I joined the Oscars at the Dolby Theater once.
What?
Oh, nice.
By
Wow.
one of our clients, yes.
Man, this is going to be really tough to follow up after Lucas, as usual. First part of my career for about 18 years was, for me, it was in New York City. I grew up in Texas, and the moment I was accepted to Columbia University, and back then I was primarily focused on doing religious works. My first project in New York was actually a synagogue and Buddhist temples, campus building. I just wanted to serve the public. I think that's just something that was really passionate about. But then after 18 years, I had this dream, with 3 feet of snow outside, and I said, well, I think I want to do buildings that people could sleep in. So I wanted to do homes. And I kept looking online at California.
You're done with the snow.
There's no snow, it's warm, I could go running. And so I really wanted to focus on custom residential and also cultural work and, just any sort of, hospitality. It's
You're big.
just anything with a bed in it. Okay, so maybe the museum doesn't have a bed, but yeah.
So guys, Howard knocks on the door. You guys form a team. What were some of the visions for the company? And also, how did you guys promote? How did you guys get your first client, first gig? How did all that pan out?
Yeah, okay. So this is the way I remember it. About I think 1 or 2 months after, I left my last job, as I said before, it was really hard. So I left my job without finding a new one because I really wanted to just reset my mind. After about a period of time, I went on LinkedIn to just share a thank you post to all the people I didn't get a chance to thank. And so I basically, got all this great feedback, people reaching back to me. Oh, good for you. I thought you were already had your own firm by now. I was like, no. And literally the very next day, Aesop gave us a call. And then soon after,
Soon after I called, right? Because you had the client before you we had a firm.
yeah, well, that's a whole other story. Initially, I'm just blown away by the generosity of people. Just especially people I've worked with in the past, even people I've coached. For example, we worked for almost a year with Kelly Wersler, doing some consultancy work. We had high-end general residential general contractor reaching out to us and referring us, and of course, my like amazing wife, and from people from her yoga studio, from Emmy nominated, like, caliber hairstylists. So yeah, so basically from coffee shops, yoga studios, and hairstylists. So that's what we got. The other half of our clientele. It was all unexpected. All I did is I told people we're here, and they came and found us. Fortunately,
And I know how scary that could be. We kinda did the same thing too, just starting a business. You're always waiting for that, first opportunity.
Well, based on our experience, we're grateful that we didn't have to call you and you actually called us. And I often carry with me that Howard is my Christmas miracle because our first encounter was Christmas Eve, and that's where we started talking about Aesop. What I've gathered just working with you as a team is that none of your projects are just one and done. It's you become lifers with the client. I would love to hear more about what makes these projects successful and how is it that it's not just, one and done, and you actually sign up for California and for a different location, whether it's California or out of state. What differentiates you guys? What's the sauce?
Well, with our early work, it really is critical to become the link between a out of town design team and the builder, and now translate a European design set into something that can be built locally, tailored to uh, how things work here.
well, if I may add, so just for those in the audience, the ESOP have different design teams for different regions. In this particular case, we work with the European team and incredible, talented, amazing people to work with. And I think part of, I guess, what helped ours was our skill set because we came from a background of doing really custom, bespoke residential designs in museums and just anything that had that's a little bit unusual, one, two, maybe five steps above normal, we've done it. But to kind of translate that skill set into a space that's no bigger than about 1,500 square feet. So because we have such a residential focus in how we do everything, so just high emphasis on communication, really comprehensive and coordinated drawings. So our drawings, we strive to be best in class, meaning that we'll read the drawings 5 times ourselves from the point of view of the contractor. Like the measure of a success for any project that we work on only starts after the user moves in and not when the building is built.
Yeah,
And
but so that was like one of the things Howard identified early on when we had a client, we had a great design, and what he realized was like, okay, now we need to find the right builder. It wasn't the client realizing, wait, we need better local talent to realize, and Howard instinct, he
being proactive.
you took it
Yeah.
on yourself,
Yeah.
proactively. I mean,
Um,
Aesop could work with anybody basically, but it was ultimately him taking uh, the lead
uh,
and reaching out to you guys.
but seriously, soon after, working with ESOP, I'm a team builder. As I look back, our firm's been open, 2 years, 10 months, almost 3 years.
23 years.
But even before then, I, kind of just always enjoy solving problems before they become a problem. And it's more fun that way. So soon after we started working with ESOP, and we recognized that they had a strong desire to work with high quality, commercial general contractors, and for obvious reason. So we reached out to our business coaching group. Yes, we have a business coach. And we think everybody should have one. But soon, Modaa's name quickly came up through Douglas Teeger, our Zen master coach. Then I would later learn that you guys had done work with Offert's Coffee through our good friend Fernando Bracer of Studio Sucio, who does a lot of work with them. And they had both had just great things to say about you. And then, oh my God. And the kicker was then I found out you guys had done the architectural remodel of the Wolf House by John Lautner. And by then, I was just like, I must call these people and find out what they eat for breakfast.
Howard. You know I blush at these things.
But that's the whole truth. And plus, I had a lot of time on holiday.
My RFIs are not stopping, even with all these lovely things you have to say about us and all the hype. I'm
No,
still RFIing you.
please. But but I don't know if I mentioned this before, but ESOP has a really strong ethos on sustainability that goes well beyond speccing like a green product or being carbon neutral or negative. It also includes working with talented local general contractors. So then when we were approached to work on ESOP large mod. So we've done 3 so far with them. All we did is we made an introduction, and they saw the values that you guys sort of exuded. It was probably one of the best referrals we have ever made.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And it's genuinely mutual, which is why we then ended up calling you and are so excited to be collaborating with you on Nordic Knots.
Mm.
And can't wait to see that come to life. I can comfortably say that the feedback has been lovely and positive, and we are grateful that we made the right choice.
And and I think it's so important to have the right team, right? From every aspect. Builder, designer, architect. We all have to just be able to work together, solve the problem, be technical when we need to. That's what I off the bat appreciated from you guys, working on a job. You call me, we're going over some details together before, you submit things, we discuss it, if it's going to work, if it isn't going to work. So the tenant, the client is always, there's no issues.
But ideally, right, we want to make these decisions that are so critical for you guys as early as possible. So even because we're actually trying to avoid a lot of design work in the field, but working in an existing environment, that's the reality too. So having that flexibility to be able to quickly respond, which comes, I guess, from just having seen these buildings so many times and being able to respond while keeping the design intent in mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But there's a fluidity in this relationship that we all share, and no one's afraid of being honest because construction is construction. And when someone says, "Oh, how is the project?" you already know there's going to be problem solving. If
Yeah.
it's not a matter of finger pointing and, saying this guy, that guy, or that woman, whoever, it's a matter of, okay, this is what happened. This is what we're doing overnight, honest. That's what keeps it going. We're not stuck in the muck of like, oh, who did that? Let's figure out how that happened. No one cares.
Yeah.
That's a really uncomfortable position, right? Because it's like as a GC, you're put into that position, or designer, architect. It's tough because we all form friendship, right? And you're put at the spotlight right then and there, and you're like,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. Let me talk to the. It's a way. I just feel like it goes smooth. There's no issues. There's no drama throughout the whole process. It's fun. I think those are really, it's very important. None of us want to be uncomfortable.
And communication is so key. Like just before coming on this podcast, I apologize to Rosie because she said something yesterday that made me think. And I just love that we have the type of working and relationship where we could communicate with complete candor. And I just love that because, if our goal is to just make money and do the work, then, that's one way to do things. I think, that's the common value that we all share with ESOP, Modaa, Atelier X. We want to perform our best. We want to all grow together. I'm reminded of the old adage, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. And architecture is not for the faint of heart. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you have to build the right team, and that's when you could when you run with the right people, that's when you could run further, faster, build endurance, and have more fun. And that's what it's all about, really.
Well, I'm happy to be on your team. I wish I was doing more running, but we can talk about your running coach after.
I mean, one thing I had just always wanted to know, because I'm just, a designer. I know what I know, but it just fascinates me to come from doing luxury or custom residential where, it basically starts at 12, 15,000 square feet and on up, where a project might take, up to 3 years, sometimes longer to build. And then so when we transition, we thought, oh, we've been doing this for 30 years, but all of a sudden the project has to be delivered in less than 3 months. Can you both just talk about, like, how do you guys do it? What is your secret sauce?
I think we didn't even have a chance to pause and think. We just ran into the short-term, quick turnover commercial spaces. And so then I saw Pat, when he says, you've got the executive role, but then you've got the role of rolling up your sleeves and getting the job done. I saw it all simultaneously happen over the course of 3 months. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of creative work. It's not just creating a dynamic schedule and following it. It's creating a schedule, it's strategizing, but it's also very much thinking outside the box.
Mm.
And it's not just a quick application because every project is so different. What I've learned is I've become an expert in pivoting. So, okay, if this doesn't work, we're going to switch it. And I mean, look at us now, right? We're looking at solutions, and one week the solution looks very different to the
Mm.
other week or from the other week. And so you just have to keep at it. You accept it knowing full well this is a sprint, and you accept it knowing full well that if you don't deliver this, you're not going to have a finish line. Like, it's just your reputation is on the line. So either know that you're going to be able to finish this in 3 months or just say no, thank you.
And I guess it's a very competitive industry, right? So if you say no, you don't sign things, someone else is gonna pick up the project or the slack. So for me, everything is doable, possible, right? As long as everything plan-wise is all set to what it needs to be. And it's a lot easier in commercial industry than it is in the custom residential. But it's like, if you don't take this cookie that's given to you, someone else is just gonna come and swipe it right out of your hands. Rosie's in the wrong industry. She should have been a lawyer, because if Rosie doesn't like go over all these contracts and stuff, like 30, 40 page of contracts, like honestly, I don't even think, you know,
You would still sign.
I would even be,
You clearly still
I would
signed.
sign without even reading any of this stuff, because I've been in, I've been in the business. I've built things from ground up myself physically. So I know all the ins and outs. So for me, something that might sound extremely complicated for, the designers and the whole team and stuff, for me, it's like, okay, this is how easy it is to do this. But, there's always, obviously there's steps to take to get there, right? Legal steps. So, and that's when she gets in there. It's like, pause for a second, Pat, let's, go this route. And I think it's just, that's how we kind of formed it. That's how we do it. We just kind of give each other a reality check. I step back, vice versa. And that's how we just move forward. And to be honest, like day in, day out, it's constant construction talk in the house, projects, even the kids are talking construction now. It's just something we love and we do. And, it just comes natural now.
You're touching on partnership there, which I always found fascinating. Your partnership, our partnership,
Mm.
sort of picking up roles, and where you feel more confident than maybe the other partner, but joining forces, right? And then multiplying. So it's not just 1+1 is 2, right? No, you're actually multiplying talent. I feel when we lean into certain things, we recognize strengths and we run with it, and that
Mhm.
gives the other person the freedom to focus on what is on their plate right now.
I think we were always inspired by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. When they were teenagers, they came together before they were fully grown, and they decided that, they were going to share credit on everything that they do.
Mm.
Whether, I do 1%, Lucas does his 99%, or the other way around, it was always gonna be Atelier X.
Well, being in the construction industry as partners, it's the truest form of trauma bonding. It really is the essence of ride or die together, because if you're riding together, no matter who's who's in the driver's seat or the passenger seat. And if you go down, it's a togetherness. So I love that you mentioned John Lennon. It's very appropriate.
Mm.
So where do you guys pull off your inspiration from the design aspect of things?
I think over the years, I mean, we've come to realize that there's nothing more beautiful and inspiring than nature. And I think we also get much of our inspiration from visiting other cultures. And so in our own work, what we really try to do is bring aspects of the natural world, that feeling, like when you go to a white sands or, a beach or like a Antelope Canyon in Arizona. We try to bring that feeling into our built environment to hopefully, spark a joy.
I'm somehow always inspired by constraints. Great ideas come out of tough challenges, constraints, clients that ask hard questions or have ambitions that are potentially even out of reach, right? Figuring out a
Yeah.
way to make it happen. And then in that process, amazing ideas grow.
I think that's the German mentality.
Yeah, I think for us both, I'm originally from Taiwan, grew up in Texas. What we have in common is that we don't really see ourselves as artists, but more as craftsmen, more like builders. It's just our tools are a little bit different. And we also believe very strongly that architects don't really invent anything new.
Mm.
They transform reality. So this is why we're constantly looking to transform nature and culture, to just transform our reality.
And so, with that, we'd like to touch on, what do you think is the future of design?
One thing for us, building a firm this sort of late in our careers, number one, we wanted to create a platform, and that sort of led to it's essentially an atelier, because an atelier allows talented craftsmen to build or develop their craft, right? And so that will not go away with AI. AI will be a fantastic tool to allow us to do more of that, to do more of the things we love to do. Talk to the builder, talk to the craftsman, be out there in the field, because we're not note taking, right? We have scribes now that take care of it. The business can be streamlined. We can accelerate. We can
Yeah.
iterate faster. So
May I add to that? You mentioned the business of design. Many of the wonderful firms we work for, in terms of the org chart, is a pyramid. You have a star at the top, manager in the middle, and then the junior staff at the bottom. So one thing we want to experiment on ourselves, since we're Taylor X also stands for experimental, is that in sometimes the decision makers at the top don't necessarily have the information because they're decision makers. And the people at the bottom of this pyramid doing executing all the work, they have all the information, but they don't necessarily have all the decision making power. And so then you have the middle manager, which that's the role we came from, and we're kind of having to navigate all this, kind of manage chaos.
yeah, so we're collapsing that structure into like the smallest package that makes us incredibly agile.
So then we take that org chart of a pyramid and transform it into a circle. And the idea is to surround the client with the most amount of talent possible in the most direct way.
So, Howard and Lucas, where do you see yourselves in the next 5 years? Where is Atelier X going?
Great question. I think we see ourselves going sort of designing larger custom homes because that's kind of something we're very familiar with. Continue to do luxury retail, and we will always do architecture. One thing we want to have is maybe have larger and slower moving projects like a bigger house or something on the cultural side of things, and as well as small and fast projects. We believe with our mindsets, our value, how we want to grow the firm, we believe the future of design is about having these right combination of projects so that they can help our team to grow faster to achieve their goals in a responsible way, with less uh, sort of risk of burnout.
Yeah, I guess to scale without losing control of the work, that would be the goal for us.
That rolled into my next question, which is what are some of the values you hope to never lose as the company grows?
For us, I mean, for me also, is definitely the generosity and hospitality. These are the values that I think we were both raised on, and is the foundation of everything that we do. All the technical expertise is built on top of that. It's completely meaningless without it. These are values that are universal and timeless, and they will never go away with AI. And that's the space we want to operate in to bring joy, not only to the owners, but also and especially to our builders, because they're just such an important part to the construction process, to the outcome.
Yeah, not losing the joy and what we're doing, the passion, just keep that alive and is sort of the fuel, right?
Yeah.
We love it.
I agree. It's like we don't, you know, not to everyone. We don't make phone calls wishing them happy birthday, this, that. We're always like texting, right? We kind of don't want the same thing to happen in this whole like industry where we're like, we don't even see each other's face on site. We can't even collaborate. We can't even have fun, go over work. Everything just gets done. I think it would be so disappointing to like for that to ever happen, honestly. At least for me, I think I would retire then.
Well, it's time to tell Howard to take off his 360 camera off of our site then. Because everything for him is virtual. Well, it seems like that is all the time we have for today's podcast. Thank you again, Howard and Lukas, for joining us. So if our audience, I'm sure, wants to learn more about Atelier X, where can we find you? This is the time to share all of the ways that we can discover Atelier X.
Howard built a fantastic website, atelierx.design, social media, Instagram.
AtelierX.design. And then link my personal LinkedIn for now, and that's just Howard Chu. And believe it or not, this pair of Gen Xers, we have a YouTube channel, but this is more sharing with a greater audience, like who doesn't know anything about construction, the behind the scenes look at how the building gets constructed.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast as much as we did. We will see you on the next one.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
guys.
you so very much.
Always happy to talk to you guys.